All right, guys, you know, in the wake of this election, the left has been going crazy, and I mean crazy with the capital C. They're trying to find out everybody who's a Trump supporter so they can label them to know who's good and know who's bad, and that includes your favorite celebrities and content creators. Today, we're going to be talking about Nara Smith. Now, her crime is not that she necessarily voted for Donald Trump, but there's evidence that exists online that her husband, Lucky Blue Smith, might have. Yeah, that's what's going on. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.
Guys, before we get into today's video, please like and subscribe. Yes, today we're going to be talking about Nara Smith. She's featured on this channel once again. We talked about her prior because she was on the chopping block for being a trad wife. Even though she's not necessarily a trad wife, she's a super successful content creator and model who happens to film her life, which includes being a mother, making recipes, taking care of her children, and women were very upset about that.
Every day looks the same, and I usually don't cook them any extra meals. They eat whatever Lucky and I are eating. With that being said, for breakfast, they had some apple compote with some pumpkin pancakes.
Now, we investigated that whole thing that was going on with her, and we found out that people were just jealous. But now we're gonna be talking about Nara Smith for a different reason. Now, Nara Smith happens to be a woman of color. She is married to another successful model by the name of Lucky Blue Smith, and he happens to be a white man. And you know what the left thinks. If you're white, something ain't right. So they had to go and investigate Lucky Blue Smith. They went through all of his social media and they found out on Instagram that he was following Charlie Kirk. We all know who Charlie Kirk is. Now on TikTok, he was also apparently reposting pro-Trump TikToks. And this led them to believe that he in fact supported Trump and voted for him on election day. And the TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, is very real on the left. We know that. And so is the racism. So now they're coming after Lucky Blue Smith and his wife, Nara, for, I guess, being associated and married to him. We are going to listen to some of the responses. Just get ready.
You know something that is so funny to me right now is that I'm seeing a whole bunch of people shocked that their favorite white influencer is a Trump supporter. Like, I'm sitting here thinking, why are you surprised? Like, you should have been known that your favorite was a Trump supporter. And to be honest, for me, I assume that every white person is a Trump supporter. I am so sorry. It is not innocent until proven guilty. It is guilty until proven innocent. And I don't...
I'm sorry. Pause. I mean, it's the most un-American thing I've heard, obviously, in a pretty long time, that you are not innocent until proven guilty, which is like our American standard, but you are guilty until proven innocent, but only if you're white. What does that sound like to you? What does it smell like to you? I'm getting notes of racism. Okay, let's continue.
I don't think that way to be stereotypical or mean. No, I think that way from...
I don't think that way to be stereotypical or mean. But I'm going to be stereotypical and mean. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
My safety, because living in a predominantly white town, I have to be careful what I say. Like, I vividly remember having a conversation with this one girl about how I was on birth control. Now, I'm not on birth control because of sex. I'm on birth control because of my period. But this other girl who was listening into our conversation gave me the dirtiest look in the world. And that is how I quickly learned to keep my mouth shut around these white folks.
Okay. Just question here. I'm just going to assume and take her word for it that this story is real and somebody gave her a dirty look, even though we all know that leftists interpret everything as some sort of attack against them, but I digress. Let's assume that this happened to her. Does a dirty look make you unsafe? I don't think so. And this is what the left does. They conflate all these different things with like a fear for their safety. Your violence is actual violence. Your silence is violence. The way you look at somebody is apparently violent and now they're fearing for their safety, when in reality, you're just living in the world, experiencing things that every other person also experiences, and sometimes on the basis of their opinions, and you should just keep it pushing. But they can't do that. Instead, they have to be prejudiced towards people of a certain race to make up for the fact that people were prejudiced towards them because of their race. Is that how you fix problems? And it's a problem that virtually none of these people have actually experienced because they didn't live through it. But let me shut up.
Now, back to the whole influencer thing. Why are y'all shocked that Lucky Blue Smith is a Trump supporter? Like, I fear that it was blatantly obvious from the beginning. I mean, I could give y'all a couple reasons why I immediately knew, because he's white, he's Mormon, and he's white. And do y'all seriously think that Nara being black would make a difference? Like, come on now. She's not even from here.
She's not even from here. I thought you guys were the party of not even from here. You're supposed to tolerate all people, accept and welcome all people. But she's not from here, I guess is a point. And she was really going hard on the whiteness part of that argument. But we all know how she feels about white people because she's a racist. This is really weird behavior. But honestly, I'm glad that the left is exposing themselves almost in full force after this election. Because we've been saying for a long time that they're racist, not all of them, just the people we're going to be viewing today, at least seemingly so. And now they are blatantly talking about how racist they actually are. Back in the day, it was sort of veiled with these beautiful words, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And now they're just straight up telling you, hi, I'm racist. Okay, we're gonna watch another one. This one says, I really can't believe how Nara Smith, a woman of color, can be a Trump supporter. I have a very short response to this one. This whole inability to believe that somebody of a certain skin tone could support Donald Trump is the reason y'all lost the election. Because look at all these people of diverse backgrounds and skin tones who came out in full force in support of him. But you guys, I guess, relegated Trump supporting to white people. And that's a really big mistake because it's about values. It's not about race. Next, this next one reads, this Nara Smith situation is perfect to explain what I meant by Trump's election isn't women versus men. Lucky did not vote against his wife's rights. He may have voted against your rights, but Nara Smith is a rich woman married into the bourgeoisie. Goodness. If need be, they'll throw money at the problem. Put her on a private jet and take her anywhere to get health care. You and her are nowhere near in the same boat. She is not your sister, your neighbor is. First of all, if there's one person I'm gonna guess is not going to be on the market for an abortion, it's probably Nara Smith. And just for a quick fact check here, I don't think that Nara Smith married into the bourgeoisie. I'm pretty sure she was a successful model before she married Lucky Blue Smith. But who cares about facts? But just wait, if you call now, there's more. Let's watch another one.
I can't say I'm shocked, but I can't say that you would do anything publicly to show that you are a Trump supporter. I can't say that I saw that coming.
How dare you espouse your views in public? How dare you let that be known? Meanwhile, the left is out protesting in the streets, rioting, looting, setting shit on fire. They're wearing t-shirts that say, Black is beautiful, the future is female, we hate men, down with the patriarchy. They are fully capable of labeling themselves and dousing themselves in their ideology at any given moment. In fact, a lot of them have to, because they have to signal to you how they feel. And I know that because your girl was a former leftist, and I have literally a tattoo on my body to show people that I stand in solidarity. And this is what they do with their hair, their clothing, with the words they say, the protests they attend. But how dare you do it in even the small way of reposting something from the candidate that you support? How absolutely dare you?
You know, I do have to unfollow her. Like, you know,
she'll survive.
She been through a bunch of controversy, but I do like the content. But you know, hey, we have opted out, and I'm standing on it. I'm standing on opting out. So I haven't had to unfollow too many people though. She will be one of the few that I've had to unfollow. I've had to block some people. I've had to block some people for some horrific takes on policing Black women and their emotions and their choices to go to Starbucks and McDonald's.
Okay, just for a second. You've had to block people for policing Black women and their emotions. Meanwhile, you're unfollowing and advocating that other people unfollow somebody who is a Black woman who really hasn't even expressed anything. It's just her husband has done something. So it's a crime of association, and you feel righteous enough to unfollow her. Make it make sense. The inconsistency is like so glaringly obvious, yet it goes right over the head. And it's so interesting that she says, I really enjoy Nara Smith's content. So you see somebody who's adding something of value to your world, but because they may disagree with you on politics, you will cut that good thing that they're providing to your life out of it? I don't know. But we all know these people are cutting off every single Trump supporter, cutting off their families, cutting off their best friends as soon as they find out who they voted for. And I think and hope that they live to regret it and understand that they've made the wrong decision. And I hope those Trump supporter friends and family that they cut off turn the other cheek and come back to these people and say, you know what, with what you were seeing, I understand why you did what you did, but can we realize now that that was maybe a little immature and a little premature? I can almost guarantee that when some of y'all are on your deathbed, knocking on death's door, you're not going to be thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so glad I cut off my daughter for supporting Donald Trump. I think you're going to be thinking, where's my daughter? Okay, so hopefully we can inject a little bit of wisdom into our thinking and get ahead of some of our more visceral feelings about this election. But it's unfortunate that it doesn't seem like that's the case. We'll close this last one out.
And because now is not the time for you to be coming in here and telling people what to do. Do I agree that people should be going to Starbucks and McDonald's? No. But am I going to come on here and publicly bash these people for doing it? No. I understand that they were hurt, and the only way they knew how to express that on a petty level was to do that. So I mean, and if you're black, you get that too. So anyway, I feel good today. Today is the first day that I'm up, I'm out the house, like in full form, makeup, clothes, you know. So get up, get out the house. Don't let social media have you on here thinking that, you know, we know what time it is. So get up, get out, and let's do this.
Do you know what time it is? Do you? I mean, the cognitive dissonance is so wild. And if I'm going to psychoanalyze this person, it seems like she can only view the world through her own lens, which is like peak narcissistic behavior. And you see that in the cognitive dissonance. She understands when people who support her worldview do something and admits that they need to be protected. But as soon as somebody who even shares her identity, which we know that means nothing, does something she disagrees with that steps outside of her worldview, she can't understand why that would be the case or why that person might need to be defended, or in this case, just might need to be able to live and exist in their own world. It's so interesting. And you see this with these young women who are commenting about this election. They say that every single person who voted for Donald Trump is trying to strip them of their rights. It's because they want to treat women like property. They want to own us. They want to force us to have children. No, we voted for Trump for other reasons. Mind you, abortion is not at the top of everyone's list when it comes to issues that they are facing. In fact, most women in this lifetime will never need an abortion. So some of us are looking at our lives and thinking, I think the economy could be better, because that impacts me every single day. I pay for things every single day. I'm losing money every single day. Some of us are worried about immigration. I live here in California on the southern border, which I've been to. You can literally watch as people are funneling into the country. Now, not all these people are criminals. Some of them should go through our immigration system legally and be allowed to stay in this country. And it's unfortunate that they've started their relationship with this country off on a criminal basis. And some of these people go on to commit crimes against your fellow citizens. I put that at the top of my list as well. And it's way above abortion. In fact, abortion is many tiers down on my list. Way, way, way down. And I'll tell you why. It's just not an issue that I feel like trumps all the other issues that our country is currently dealing with. So no, I didn't vote for Trump because I hate you. I voted for Trump because I have other things that I'm worrying about that I feel like are more important than the issue that you're worrying about. But you don't see me on the other end of this election saying that you should be silent, that you shouldn't be able to come forward and talk about why you voted for Kamala, that you should have to label yourself so I know who you are and I know who the bad people who voted against my candidate are. I'm not doing that because I don't feel that way. We live in a pluralistic society that supports free speech, and that is your freedom of speech, to talk about who you support, to label yourself with that if you so please. But apparently, we can't do that on the conservative end of things. Even though I have to remind these people, we won the election. So now you're telling the majority that they have, I guess, an unpopular opinion that they shouldn't be able to share out loud after beating you in an election? But all I have to say is that if they continue speaking in this way about people who supported Trump or about people who they theorize to have supported Trump, you're gonna keep losing. And in the case of Nara Smith, no matter who wins the presidential election, she's winning because she's living her life and she seems pretty happy with it, and she's got millions of followers and she's making money. And while you're hating on her, watching her videos, commenting about her husband's supposed support of Donald Trump, she's making money off you too. Now, Nara Smith is a classy woman, at least according to her content, but if I'm her, this is how I'm responding. I'm putting up a recipe video tomorrow, and I'm saying this. There's been some controversy stirring up on the internet about Lucky and I and our politics, and it seems like many of you are hungry for a response. So today, I'm gonna be making a delusional Kamala supporter from scratch. First, you're gonna start off with a base of 4 cups of holier than thou. Then I'm gonna go ahead and add in a half a cup of prejudice and racism. Sometimes we make mistakes in our recipes, and I actually realized that 4 cups of holier than thou wasn't exactly enough. So I folded in 1 cup of I think I'm better than you from a previous recipe. Now you're gonna let this rest on the counter for 1 hour, and once you realize that it's risen, you're gonna sprinkle on top a little bit of narcissism. Then you're gonna take everything you've made, transfer it into a pan, and put it in the oven at 350 for 3 hours. I really want you to burn the shit out of this recipe. Now after I let this bake for 3 hours, I took it out of the oven. I kind of lost track of time, but I could tell this recipe was done when Lucky came into the kitchen saying he could smell the brain rot from down the hall as he's playing with our kids. As I said before in this video, mistakes are often made in the kitchen, and when I took this out, I realized that it was actually inedible. So unfortunately, this recipe ended up in the trash. But those are just my thoughts on the Nara Smith controversy. Drop your thoughts in the comments down below. As always, I encourage debate on this channel. So if you disagree with anything I said in this video, duke it out down below. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you next time. Bye guys.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you better.